You want to be on TV? Uh-huh. You're so handsome, you should be on TV. You'd probably get a contract. When they run through a school
Ruth
like that,
Brame is a 72-year-old fishing guide from Hopkinsville.
Not much you can do
She has
about
probably caught more white bass from Lake Barkley than any other angler in the state.
that. We didn't see many
Recently,
ducks
Ruth permitted me to tag along
around.
as she
Saw a
educated
lot of
Norm
geese.
Minch on how to find
They're
and
raising
catch
right
this
up yonder on those
species.
islands, Norm.
Come here,
Right up
fishy.
yonder.
Ooh.
Splash, splash, splash. He's not very big. Is he a keeper? You want to keep him? These old wrist breakers they're out here. Sometimes I think the little ones jump on when they run through a school like that before the large ones can get hold of it. So not much you can do about that. Oh, Norm, look at there. That's one of yours. I believe that's that same one we catch every time we go by, don't you? I believe that's that same little fish. Only he doesn't have a torn mouth. He does now. Poor baby. He's going to be hair-lipped. I said two things that are unpredictable is a woman and a fish. You can't ever tell where they are and what they're doing, can you? I got this fish I had last fall. He was a whopper. And I'd get him right up to the boat, and then he'd take off, and I'd dip at him 3 times. It's really hard to hold those fish and get with your right hand and get the dip net under with the left hand. Someone told me I should lip them, but I would wind up probably with the bait in my finger. I don't think I can be as cool as those professional guys are. Get too excited. Oh, goodness. We have to stop production again while we get the fish in.
That is production.
Oh. Do you ever do a show when you can't find any fish?
All the time.
All the time. Don't you think this is exciting fish? People, you know, this type fishing, I just love it. Anytime you're catching fish, I'm not going to be fussy about what kind they are. I like to catch crappie. I like to catch bass. I like to catch anything that swims. These fish have gotten to they'll come in and stay on gravel bars, and it's a matter of finding them when they come into the shallow water on the bars feeding. You can catch a bunch of them if you can catch them doing that. Most of the time they're kind of scattered, but they will be large fish. This is where they normally are, right in here. Their hanging out spot. Another fish, woe is us. I noticed when I came down here, there's another one. Normally they just won't leave us alone. Oh my goodness. Isn't it terrible to be molested by fish? Kind of molestation I could take from now on out. The sky has these streaks up in it like that. It's pretty.
Ruth has been a guide on Lake Barkley for about 5 years, but can recall fishing the rivers and streams that make up the lake with her father when she was a child. In fact, she can't remember not fishing.
This friend of mine said that he remembered when I walked around with a fishing pole. I told you this, Norm, I think, with a fishing pole over my shoulder and a can of fishing worms in my diaper. I don't think that's quite right. Oops. Goodness, he hit so hard and he missed it. Oh, there he is. But no, I fished with my dad from, I don't remember not fishing. I remember the first big bass I ever caught in a pond. That was a vivid memory. But I tagged around after my daddy, and we just had a wonderful, wonderful life together fishing. He fished with me until he was 89 years old. My daddy used to hold the fish down under the boat when he'd see a boat passing, and sometimes his fish would get off. Oh, shucks, I guess I should have gone on and gotten him in. You got one, Norm, too? That's pitiful, Norm. You wait, I might have one more pitiful. He's small, isn't he? We'll put him back and catch him next year. Come to the very same spot and catch the very same fish. Sometimes I wonder, why does it fascinate me so when it's just like any other sport? My husband was a golfer. He loved to golf, and golf bores me stiff. We got along just great till we tried to fish together. Oh, he wanted to go home if the fish weren't biting, and that didn't go over very good with me. So we decided I'd fish and he'd golf, and that way we got along just great. I'll never forget the first stripe jump I saw. Oh my gosh, what on earth is that? And this man who worked with my husband down at the post office made a bait. No one knew how to fish for stripers. His name was Ruth Brame. And he made this bait, cut up baby pans, white baby pans, and tied them onto a single hook, wound them like you would a fly, and we, of course, had to put some lead on a line. And we'd throw that thing into those striper jumps, and they would just eat it up. Had we had all the sophisticated equipment back then that we have now, we could have really made a splash. He's a nice one, isn't he? Is he food on the table, Norm?
Yes, ma'am.
We have to get Norm's consent to keep these fish.
Since she is a senior citizen, I thought that Ruth would fish once or twice a week. However, I soon found out that's not the case.
During fishing season, when you can fish when you want to, I average about at least 3 days a week, and then, you know, sometimes when you guide, you get thrown into fishing maybe 5 days. That's a little tough, especially if you're working trying to get someone on fish. You have to get up. A lot of these people want to get up real early, and most of the time there's no point in getting up so early. During the summertime, when the fish are feeding, and you're going to catch them in the jumps, they're hardly ever going to start much activity until they open the gates and start the turbines down at the dam. And they draw that, when they start the current through here, that pulls the minnows out into the shallow water, and then the stripers will go in there and feed on them. If we don't get a fish right through here, we're going to turn around and go the other way, but this is where they usually stay. We'll have to go up to the bridge and try it after a while. There were a bushel of fish up there yesterday. When Barkley Lake was being impounded, right through here was a road they built for the old ferry approach. And this is gravel all out in here where we are right now, and of course fish like gravel. And of course this is just Barkley Lake, your bridge right there. They had a ferry that ran across here, and in the summertime, fish will really stay on this area out here. I don't know if they're here now or not. I haven't tried it before. But they love to run around those piers down there. That's an excellent place for them. I think when a boat gets too close to a striper jump, the noise from a boat will scatter your minnows, and in turn the stripers will leave. On Kentucky Lake, it didn't bother you because it was so deep, but this lake is so shallow. I think it does bother them. You'll have people who argue that it doesn't bother them, but I think it does, definitely. I've had too many good jumps messed up that way. I always, when I see a jump, I'll run fairly close to it, and then I'll turn on my trolling motor, and the trolling motor doesn't bother them. This almost looks like a fall day, doesn't it? The sky is so clear and bright. Beautiful day. Any day's beautiful when you're catching fish. Is that right?
Exactly right.